Aloha, and welcome to another candid conversation. We're going to go down a different path today. Our guest is Steve Clegg, who I have enormous respect for and what he's done with business, with systems, with thinking. So with that as a starting point, Stephen, welcome to Chicago, to Hawaii.
Thanks, Ron.
We started to get ready for this, and I said, wait a second, let's just get going. Steve's always been of the opinion that the world depends on the transaction between two human beings. And he doesn't see that changing. So let's use that as a starting point. You've used all kinds of AI in the last number of years. Where are you at with this stuff?
We're automating a huge amount of the stuff that we're doing. So it's following that pattern, but AI has made it possible to more rapidly make this inversion that we've talked about in the past, which is that with artificial intelligence, you've got the economy, the human race has the ability to, invert what has been a pyramid that has sat on top of transactions where you have layers and layers of people supposedly assisting you in the exchange of goods and services, where the seller and the buyer are really not seeing a great amount of the benefit of that transaction compared to the pyramid that sits on top. But with artificial intelligence, what that does is it allows you to go back to the two people transaction, which is the core of a viable economy, because there's no such thing as one hand clapping. It requires two people exchanging goods and services. And AI allows for the capability of supporting that transaction, so that sits on top of the pyramid, not at the bottom of the pyramid. And so rather than being exploited by the pyramid, it's being supported by the artificial intelligence.
Let me pick on something that you mentioned. Between the buyer and the seller, there's two pyramids of people that are sucking some aspect of that transaction away, whether it's freight, whether it's customs, whether it's duties, whether it's markups, whatever the heck it might be. But with AI, your premise is that's going to shrink, if not disappear altogether.
Yes. And it's been possible in the past. I mean, when I first got into the steel business, the steel mills back then had more people outside the plant than they had inside the plant. And we were able to take Birmingham Steel and make it the low-cost producer in North America for rebar and rod by, having a superintendent, or two superintendents, a plant manager, and a salesman or two, and one admin, and everybody else was on the line. So basically turning into the beginning of an inversion, which allowed us to make rebar for about under $200 a ton, where at the time it was going for $600 a ton. So the technology, or the desire to do it, has been there, but there have been some big stumbling blocks. And one of them has been just having the people content focused on the transaction rather than all the things that support it. And artificial intelligence is making that happen. And then the big breakthrough also, in addition to AI, has been the crypto technology. Because now you're taking out what has been a foreign exchange problem, a time differential issue. So you've got local pricing wherever you're sourcing from, local pricing from where you're selling. You've got the exchange rate issue, interest rate issue for any time delay.